So here's your frame.
How about that?
Happy? Okay, so then
I
just
think I'm happy. All right, so you're going to start.
yeah, so I can let people in whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I think we go ahead and.
So I've just reclaimed host. And we have Michael Murphy, David Gilliland, and Paul Hannon waiting.
Okay.
Yep.
Good afternoon. This is Perry Cruz.
Hello, Mr. Cruz. How are you doing?
Ruth Cruz is letting Perry use her iPad now.
Awesome. Technology at its finest here.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm a railroad fan too, so I'll let Perry take over.
All right. Sounds good. How's everybody
This is
doing?
the first.
Doing okay. How are you, Jim?
Good. Good to see you there. We missed you up at Mill Creek.
I tell you, I would have liked to have been there, but I had arrangements to go to Indiana Live Steamers, but
Yep.
of course that was canceled.
Yep. Yep. That's right. Dwight, good to see you. So, Dan Coughlin and Jessica, good to see you all on there. We'll show you some pictures later. Michael, good to see you. Michael's waving. We'll get going here in a moment. We'll let a few more get on here.
Yeah.
Kind of see what, trying to look around here. All right. Jeff, it's good to see you on here. Jeff Party, good to see you. Jeff is going to be getting one of our SD70s here coming up in a not too distant future. We still got a little ways to go, but he's getting one. All right. We ready to begin? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Titan Talks, September 27th, 2020. Glad to have you. It's 4:30 in the afternoon here on the East Coast in Boonsville, Virginia. Today we're going to talk about a little bit of a variety of things. We're going to be chatting about our, remembering Scott Weatherford, which we tragically lost last week. And we'll be showing some of the current shop scenes and things going on today, along with a new project we're building, which is what we're going to call the Murphy Hopper. And there's a video on truck assembly that we'll show you. And then just general chit chat. So, everyone ready? Can you hear me? Can I hear you?
I hear you good, Jim.
All right, sounds good. All right. Well, tragically, last Monday, September 17th, we lost Scott Weatherford of Scott's Trains. Many of you were very familiar and knew Scott. It's hard to build him up enough to what he was, because he was a tremendous person. He was a great builder, a very good friend, and a very good friend to the hobby. He was an important cog in the hobby. He was, it's just he died tragically. It sounds like from complications of a heart attack at the age of 50. And it, from my point of view, just completely unexpected. Of course, I don't know all the situation, but it just seemed completely unexpected. I don't think he had this in his plans. So that's another lesson. So live for the day and do the best you can. And but now we can, tell a few stories that y'all might have on Scott, or say a few things. I know I was honored to know him and had a great relationship. He was a great customer of ours. He was a great calming influence to the hobby and a great provider and builder to the hobby. Really made an impact and made a lot of friends throughout this country and some of the world. So what do you all think? Michael, you got something to inject here?
Well, I mean, me and him knew each other and we talked back and forth through Facebook a lot. But actually, when you started these Titan talks, me and him would spend maybe another 2 or 3 hours on video chat on Skype after it was over with. And it was, it's going to be hard. I miss him.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be missed throughout. Tragically, his wife Cindy is hurting on this, of course. They seem like a great couple, and just everything was going good. And so he's left us way too soon, but he's left a very good and deep mark on this hobby and amongst his friends. We're all better off for knowing him and being a part of Scott's star. So anyone else got something to share on Scott that they want to say?
He was a nice guy.
Yep.
Every time I met him, he was upbeat.
That's right. That's really nice these days. Anytime, but it's really nice.
Yes. He did outstanding work too.
Yep. He was a great builder.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really going to miss him.
Yeah, that's right. Anyone else?
Yeah, I never got to meet Scott personally. Like I say, we were supposed to hook up at Indiana Live Steamers. That's why I wasn't going to Mill Creek. I had some other things planned in the mix, and then of course they canceled it, and then everything took place. And I'm actually going next Thursday to meet Cindy there in Missouri at their place, their shop, and pick up my caboose.
Yeah,
built me, and I just feel fortunate I was able to get one of the last complete builds that he'd done.
Yeah.
But we talked a few times and of course text and chatted and stuff. But I knew that it was a guy that I could relate to and have a good friendship with. But it's just sad I never got to meet the man behind the build. Yeah.
Well, that's right. You're going to be fortunate, very fortunate, to have one of his products, one of his special things. There's a lot of people feeling glad they've got one. I was going to the Mill Creek meet, and then I was also going to go to the Indianapolis meet, where I was going to hook up with Scott and whoever else there. And of course, that wasn't meant to be, but I was looking forward to going to right many meets with Scott. Actually, we were going to go to some things over the next long period of time. So yeah, it's tough. So good luck on getting your caboose. I know you're going to love it. Cherish it. It's going to be pretty neat.
Oh yeah, it's one of a kind. But yeah. In fact, his wife, she had contacted me the day before about trying to arrange to get it. And I told her, I said, don't worry about this. You worry about Scott. And then, of course, he passed away. But in light of all that, me and my wife were going out, like say, Thursday. And, I don't know her that well, but from what I do, she's very gracious. She says, after we pick up the the caboose, let's all go out to dinner. And I said, well, absolutely, you know, so, but anyways, I'm looking forward to meeting her and getting the caboose. But yeah, a sad situation, and we've definitely lost an icon in this hobby. That's for sure.
That's right. Well, here's our little something tribute that we did to Scott, which is on our website. I'll try to get it right here. You know, he had one of our locomotives. Well, he's had others over the years, but this was his latest, and we were proud to have been a part of his inventory of train equipment. And I think Jeff Party, you said something about a memorial shirt. You want to say something about that, Jeff? I know he posted something.
Yeah, I was talking with Murphy earlier today about it. Cindy on Facebook posted a link the other day. She has some memorial shirts where I guess the proceeds go to a local club or something that Scott was really into.
Right.
I don't know all the details. I just know I picked one up, and I know Mike got a couple. But if you guys didn't know about it, she has it on her Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, Jim, they're $20 a piece and like $5 shipping, so it's not bad. It's his same shirt that he did, but
Yep.
it's got like a memorial thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also a guy who did some of his lettering that's doing a little lettering memorial type thing for the freight cars. If you want to check that out on Facebook.
Yeah, I saw that. That's neat. Well, all right. Well, this was to say a little bit about Scott and remember him. Probably won't be the last time, but we did want to give him some due and kind of to make it a happy occurrence of remembering the good stuff here. And now we're going to move on our little Titan Talks here, if that's all right with you all. We're going to go on to a little bit of a slideshow of what's going on today or went on today at Titan Trains. So let me see if I can get this started. Hold on, just give me a moment. We're disabled here.
So reclaim host.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. I got to reclaim here.
So dots. Reclaim host.
All right, now we're going to get started. Here we go. This one. I have the help of, well, not yet. What?
It's a little chalice.
There we go. Fortunately, I have Corey helping me with the technology of all this. So here's a few scenes just taken today, just put together real quick. Stuff going on in the shop. Let me back up one. That's one of our employees. He's chopping grab iron material on our special chop machine. This is our CNC router milling center. Actually, it's making some, it's milling out of, I think, 3/4 bar stock plate today, making some truck parts. And then that's some other sheet stock that it made the other day or recently that we got to cut out of the sheet. We were working on some bench cars and some other miscellaneous parts, but you can see how we cookie cutter stuff out of the sheets. And then some of you have seen this before, but we're cutting our wheel stock, which is an automatic saw, which cuts a wafer of wheel stock so that we can go turn it into a wheel. And we start out with about a 5-foot long bar that constantly advances itself and cuts to a little over 3/4 of an inch, you know, making wheel blanks so we can turn the wheels. Then we got some stuff getting ready to go out the door. We got some stuff, 3 crates going to Utah, 1 crate going to out towards Los Angeles, and another day of shipping at Titan Trains. We don't ship that much every day, but we ship that and more every week, it seems like. So we're fortunate. And just a little bit of our scrap pile. That's a couple of months old. That's our scrap from the CNC router milling center that you saw. Just some of the carcasses left that we eventually turn in to scrap. And just a fun thing, that's a steam locomotive. One of the fun projects I'll get to one day maybe, but it's on display outside of the office in the shop. I got a lot of rebuilding to do on that. And then a Pacific behind it. It's got some work to do also, but one day I'll get to play with the steam and I'll enjoy working on it. But that's just some nice decorations we have. And then just sort of a rack showing some just parts. We're all about parts. We make lots of parts and then eventually they filter together into an assembled product. Hopefully we make it look easy, but it's not. And some trucks that we've assembled this morning. And then you can see in the background some of the bin of axles and bin of wheels. And then John is sanding the wheel blanks on the sander, getting ready. That wheel blank is getting ready to go into the CNC machine to turn into a wheel. Here's a assembled pair of Bettendorf trucks getting ready to. Actually, it's getting ready to go under Dan Coughlin's GP9 locomotive, which we'll see in a moment. That's another GP9 body that's coming out of the shop going to another customer. In a moment, we'll see Dan's body, one of them. There's one of Dan's bodies. Dan got two GP9s, and that's one of them. And then here's showing Dan's on the right is Dan's is fully assembled chassis for his GP9. And then on the left is the one being assembled with its motor, and it's all going together and actually be ready in about a week or so. There's a similar picture with the trucks underneath the one being finished up. That's again, that's Dan Kauflin's. And then here we are working on a fiberglass mold as part of a dynamic brake blister that goes on a GP9. And then just some projects in the shop where we're finishing them out. Some of these are going to Switzerland, and we're finishing out the painting, the graphics, adding trucks and brakes. Let me admit someone here. All right, another project showing some stuff. Earlier, Dan Coughlin, there's your final chassis. It was sitting in a different spot until a little while ago, but you can see the chassis up on the bench, and down to the right is the body that goes with it. Basically, we took the one finished chassis over beside the other chassis that's almost done to make sure we do everything consistent and complete. We did that earlier today. So there we go. Just some more projects under construction, finishing out some train cars. And the same thing, got right much going on these days. We've been fortunate through all this pandemic. We have had some business. Business is down, but there's a pretty good little squirt of it right now. And we're doing all we can to keep business up and keep customers happy and keep things going. I feel that's our contribution to the world is keeping going as best we can. And just some stuff that came in today, another motor for locomotive, and the trains in the background, and some of the finished product in the background. And just stuff getting worked on. Brake line is getting added to this bulkhead flat car along with the trucks, and then couplers. And then in assembly, we have a couple of stock cars getting finished up. And then our latest project, here's a little bit of it. We're calling it the Murphy Hopper. While it's not exactly a prototypical hopper car, it is a hybrid of things that we've made that we can do pretty readily and cost effectively. It's not going to be a Scott Weatherford great car, but it will be a pretty good car for the hobby and those that are interested in a bigger, much bigger hopper car, about 100-ton hopper car, and it'll look pretty good. It'll show well, and we're anxious to introduce it. That'll be coming up. And there's one of the assembly guys, James, working on it. And that's what we have going on in the shop. These are pictures all taken today. Anyone have any questions before we go on to our truck assembly? Any questions? All right, well, let me see if I can get back to yeah, there I got it so I can see you and hear you. Yes, question?
How many days does it take to make at least one full train?
Well, a locomotive has approximately 250 to 300 man hours in it. And then the train car can have anywhere from, we can make up a kit in about 15 man hours, and a full assembled car can take about 25 or 35 man hours, especially if it's painted. To a passenger car that might take 60 man hours by the time we make the trucks and the body and put it through paint and the roofs and the seats and all the things that go with it. So there's a whole lot of time, even though we have it down in a production capacity. There's a whole lot of time that goes in these products. Fortunately, I have a very stable crew of about 10 employees out on the plant floor, and they're all very familiar with what to do. Many of them have been here a lot of years. I have some that have been here 26 years, and some that have been here. I mean, the average time here is probably about 8 or 9 years. We do have a few people that have come and go kind of on the lower end of things, but I have a very good core staff that knows how to make the trains. We have machine programs to do it and prints, in-house prints. And of course we take a lot of photos, so we try to make things consistently. So lots of man hours.
That is, I'm really excited for the GP9.
Well,
GP9.
You won't have to hold your breath very much longer because yours will be shipping out to you. I don't know that it's going to go next week, but it's getting pretty close. I think you can see it. So you'll have I see 2 of you there who might be getting to run locomotives.
Yes.
There you go. Well, you've got some nice stuff that you can grow into.
Yes.
Any other questions?
Not that I know of.
Well, you have everyone talk. There's lots of people here.
Hmm. And Jeff, we're still working on your SD70 project. Jeff has got on board to get our introductory SD70 Ace that we're developing. It's not the sort of thing I want to show pictures of yet until we're almost done, because there's just a lot of development work and it doesn't look like much until it's done. And we have our ways of how we're building it. Once we're closer to done, then we'll open it up to critique on our work as far as the detail and so forth. But we've got to get to that point first. And so it's coming along, Jeff. Hang in there. Any other questions before we go to the trucks? Huh?
Jim, is that the one that I seen the body of it in the shop there a few times? I was there.
It might have been if you saw the big thing sitting there.
Yeah,
it's the biggest one around.
Yeah, it's looking quite well, if you ask me.
Well, good, thank you. And Jeff, if you don't know, David is pretty keen on detail and exactness. He he bugged the heck out of me to make his GP9 right. So if he likes it, that's a good sign for you.
I know. I'm just being excited, is all, you know.
Good, good. We want you to be. It's coming. It's going to get there. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to showing our truck assembly, and y'all can see how we assemble our freight trucks. So let me get to that. I think it reset itself here. It's back to the beginning. Give us a moment here. I got to get back to point to start it. There we go.
Full screen.
Yep. There we go. Now this is how we assemble freight trucks. Now this is John. John Jordan's been with us, well, I guess about 8 years, at least 9 years. I've known John for probably about 30 years. And here he is assembling the axle assemblies. Of course, everything's been machined and cleaned, ready for assembly. But we're doing our axles first. We get them all lined up. After we and get them ready for the final assembly. Right now, he's putting on Loctite to put the bearings on, and the nuts that help hold the bearings on. And you know, it's all a process. And of course, this is John. This is not sped up or anything. This is how John works. He's fast. Of course, I'm kidding you. This is time lapse, but John does work fast. He does a good job. John has probably on his own built many thousands pairs of trucks. Because we build right many a year. John is the main one running the CNC machine, making the wheels and the axles, and then processing all the castings for the trucks and even the couplers and making them. So here you can see some of the final assembly of putting the Bettendorf trucks together. And now we're popping in the springs. And it takes you a little while when there's 16 springs. But once you've done this many, you kind of get a knack for it and get a handle on how to pop them in and out real quick. Then we do a test of make sure it's flexible. And then basically a similar thing on the modern trucks. Now he's Loctiting the bearing caps. He's going to Loctite the bearing caps onto the axles. And then he's going to put in the springs. With most everything we do in the shop, we use Loctite, the green Loctite 680. That's what we've used for, well, pretty much all of our existence. Yep, we got to see about going here again. There we go. I had to let someone in from the waiting room. And we first had music with this, but we turned off the music because you couldn't hear me talk if you wanted to hear me talk. Of course, some of you would rather hear the music. But this gives you an idea of what we do almost every day, you know, making trucks. You know, so we have it down pretty good, pretty consistent, pretty standard. They all seem to work well, and we try to keep them in stock. We've been keeping them in stock now for probably about 8 or 9 months, and it looks like we'll continue to do that. That's something we want to do. We've invested in ourselves to do that. So modern trucks and couplers and brakes and right many train cars are in stock.
Is that an oversized screwdriver?
Yeah, it's a big screwdriver.
I was going to say, it looks like the blade is wider than normal, so it spans the entire top of the spring.
Well, it is a big screwdriver. I don't know that's abnormal, but it's a big screwdriver.
He does it a lot easier than we do.
Mhm.
Hey, Jim, is there any difference between parts between the 7 1/4 and 7 1/2, or is it just the
Yes.
difference?
The difference is we do have a separate axle for the 7 1/4 and a separate axle for the 7 1/2. Okay, we do not make an axle that combines one or the other. They are specific to the gauge. Now the wheels and everything else are part of the gauge, part of whatever. All right, let me get out of this now. All right, here we are back.
Hey,
And,
Jim.
Yes, sir.
Now I know why I can't get those when I derail and break a cap. I know now why I can't get the rest of it off.
Well, that's right. They are meant to stay on. They are hard to get off if you want them to come off. We do sometimes have problems with them coming off when we don't want them to come off. So
Yeah.
we've gone to extra effort to try to make sure they don't rub, so that they spin off and they're going in a certain direction. And we also put a lot of Loctite on them to try to keep them on.
Yeah, I've had them to rub and come off, yes. And but most of them, I've derailment or something that just taps somehow it gets down and taps the tie or taps the top of the rail, and
Yeah.
it breaks them off, and then they look ugly, and then you try to get it off, and then you just get in a bigger mess.
Well, that's why we, that's planned obsolescence, you see, Dwight. We want to sell you a whole brand new truck now.
Well, I've already done that once.
I know. I mean, we screwed up on a lot of our obsolete, parts. A lot of them last a long time, even on the locomotives. We don't have to send out many parts,
Yeah, well, I bought a whole new set of trucks just because I couldn't get those caps off.
Jim, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. First off, thank you for the adapter for that red knob.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Works fine. The only question I have is, what is the thread on that shaft? I want to find another nut to lock the red handle in place outside of where the thing comes down and clamps on it.
Right offhand, I forget. If I had to guess, it's a 1/2 inch fine thread.
I was going to say it is a fine thread, but I wasn't sure which it was.
I think it's a 1/2 inch fine thread, but I'm not positive on that. I could, if you think about it, email me. I know you've had a hard time getting emails to me.
Yeah.
And I'll say this to everyone: for some reason, sometimes emails don't get to us, even though we have trying to have a couple of email addresses to make sure they get to us. So if you email me and you don't hear from me, try again or call. I mean, we're here. We're answering the phone. We're answering emails.
Yeah. No, it's on and it works very well. Thank you much. In fact, I've gotten quite a few, over 100 and some odd positive responses about that engine when I put it on the Reading Historical Society page.
Great. Thank you for showing it off.
You know, you can get those locking nuts in these hardware stores that have all those little drawers. They're thin locking nuts.
Yeah, well, that's what I have to get, because when I put the bracket on that Jim sent me to lock that knob in, the knob that was already on, the nut that was already on it is rather thick. I want to thin that down a bit so I can put one on the other side to lock the knob in place.
Yeah.
Because it is.
We don't use a nut to lock the knob now. We use Loctite. We just drop a bunch of Loctite on that knob and put it on.
Okay, that would work. That would work. Yeah. I didn't think of that.
That's our simple way around it.
Until you have to get it off.
That's right. Well, you never have to, because it's not going to break. It's never going to break.
But then how can you sell me a new locomotive?
Well, that when it breaks, that's when we sell you a whole new locomotive.
Oh, okay. When the knob breaks, you sell me a new locomotive. That sounds like a system to me.
That's right.
Okay, sorry.
That's our evil plan. Anyone else here? We're going on about a half hour here. Anything else?
Jim.
Yes, sir.
Did you see the video I put on YouTube about how to put Tom B's trucks on a know how to put mountain car or Titan brakes on a Tom B truck?
No, I don't think I saw that. I'm going to make a note to look at it.
Yeah, I figured that out. I already got one set made,
Okay.
and it works great. I put them on Matt Irwin's trucks.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Let's all take a look at that.
There's two videos. One is how the brakes went on, and one is how I made the brackets.
Okay. We'll take a look at that.
You just do a search under my name on YouTube, and it should come right up.
Okay. Well, Tom B products are a good competitor to us. You know, they're a respected product, and they're you know, I think they're a good product, and you know, so, but we appreciate anyone that uses ours. We have our way of doing things, and they have their way of doing things.
But I have the mountain car trucks and the mountain car brakes on mine, and everybody asks me, you know, because they work so good, and they always ask me, can you put these on Tom B's truck? So I just sat down one day and I got a set of Tom B's trucks, and I just sat down and figured it all out, and it works great. It's easy, simple to do.
All right. Well, I'm going to take a look at that. We might need to look into that further and make a retrofit kit, huh?
Yeah, that's right. All it takes one. You have to make a step down because his bolster is lower.
Yeah. Okay.
In the center.
All right.
So if you load the car, it pushes the weight down on the two arms that move back and forth.
Yeah.
So you have to make a step down on that bar. So then you're back to basically the Titan train brake.
Okay.
Anyway, take a look at it. I tried to do the best I could on the little video.
Well, I'm sure you did pretty good. You come up with a lot of creative stuff. Always have. We might make it part of our evil plot of taking over the train world by trying to get brakes on his trucks.
That's right. Do it.
Well, then you'd have to make one of his electric steam outlines.
Well, I think he's done a great job on that. You know, that's something we haven't gotten into yet, but I think he's done a great job on that. There's very much room for that.
Oh yeah, he's done a good job. The biggest problem is he's got like a 2 or 3 year waiting list on that one.
Yeah. Well, that's one day after we digest a few projects, we might get into that. You know, once we get past, you know, the SD70 and the new hopper car we're coming out, we might possibly have F units or E units on the horizon, possibly. So, you know, we keep things going, and maybe Dwight's brake application on the trucks. You know, all that all sounds good. We try to keep it going. Anyone else?
Hey, Jim, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir, Anthony.
GP9s, would you build a GP9 without a cab?
With what now?
Without the cab?
You mean just sort of a straight one, like a slug unit was?
No. I want to make. I'm Canadian, obviously, and I want to make a CN GP9. Our GP9 serve our Canadian cab. So I was thinking of getting your GP9 without the cab, and then Dad and I will build Canadian cab to go on it.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a custom build,
Yeah. Probably. Well, I mean, you're talking about just the cab, not missing the whole body.
Yeah, just the cab. Yeah, just not. I need the hood and everything else. Just no cab.
Probably the most effective way to make a path to success on that would be to get the whole body, cab and all, and then you have to cut it off because the cab is integral to the whole body structure.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
And if we start fiddling with not doing something, it tends to actually cost us more than to provide the whole thing, and then you can kit bash it.
True. Another point.
Yeah, we like to think we provide a great base for those that want to kit bash or enhance the products with, you know, super detailing.
Okay, yeah, our plan is to build a GP9 and SD40 wide cab.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, but nobody makes those cabs.
Yeah, that's right. But,
okay, thanks.
But something that maybe you all could. So there you go. All right. Anyone else? Well, I think it's about time to wind down here. Michael Murphy, you have anything else to say? Or Doreen?
No, I'm good, Jim.
All right.
I'm good.
All
Hi,
right.
Jim.
Yeah, hi there. Good to have you join us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And
Sorry, I'm a little late on this thing, Jim.
We didn't
I
know
saw
if we
that.
could make it.
I saw that. We took note of that. There's points off for her being late, you know, on this. Mhm.
Well, that's because we were chasing Union Pacific's business train today.
Well, that's a good excuse, but it's not a great excuse. So, well, and one thing for everyone to keep in mind, if you would, our security measure for coming on to our Zoom meeting is you go to a waiting room and wait for us to click you on there. Okay. Now, I have Corey helping me with that, but at times the driving part of the Zoom meeting is me, and I have to recognize that someone's waiting and then let them in. So anyway, just keep in mind, if you know, I need to recognize you to get you in. We want you to be in.
Well, thank you for letting me in, Jim.
Glad to. Hope I didn't make you wait too long. It took me a while to notice some people trying to join in.
It was no problem. No problem.
All right. Well, I enjoy doing this. I think you all do too.
Enjoyed it, Jim.
It appears that there's a lot of people that look at these things after the fact. So we're going to keep doing them. The next one will probably be about 2 weeks away. We'll post it and we'll keep it going. So thanks everybody.
Looking forward to our GP9s. Thank you.
There you go. Won't be long. I think you saw some there. You know,
Yes.
You'll be running them here way before fall. It's still going to be hot.
Good.
Did Kenny's stuff
Thank you.
ship already?
What's that?
Did Kenny's stuff ship already?
His locomotive?
Yeah, John's stuff.
No, it's in the queue to be crated and shipped.
Oh, okay.
Well, it would have been gone, but he
Yeah, no, I know he had some building problems at this end.
yeah.
His biggest problem is storage. He's literally got to store it in his van.
Yeah, and that's what it seemed like, and he's trying to get everything ready for that. So
yeah,
we've been holding it here, and of course we like looking at it. You know, it's hard to let it go because we like looking at it. But
yeah, he had a bit of a unique situation. We're a small club here in New Jersey to the point where we're kind of landlocked by multi-million-dollar houses now, even though we were in the woods.
Yeah.
And we're very limited as to our storage space for equipment, and there is a waiting list. That's the problem.
Well, I understand there's some big clubs in big cities that have the same problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, Michael? And Jeff?
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's a happy problem because then you've got more members.
There you go.
More members with more personalities.
Characters. Lots of characters.
Oh, we're all characters if anybody admits it.
That's right. All right. Well, I enjoyed having the Titan Talks with everybody today. Looking forward to doing it again. I hope you all come back and tell your friends. We want all the participation we can get. And welcome to send in any ideas, any thoughts on things to do, because some of this is all second nature to us. And yet it's an eye-opener to those that don't do it every day. And so we're welcome to share what we do and everything. So thank you.
Jim,
Yes, sir.
when is Corey going to put the video up from this meeting, since I forgot about the meeting?
Well, it takes time. It'll probably be Tuesday.
Okay.
Corey's not here every day. And so it'll be Tuesday morning before he gets back in, and then he usually starts work on that right away. So.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed it, Jim.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. All right, y'all take care. Y'all take care. We'll see you later.
Thank you, Jim. Did that storm mess you up down there?
No, we didn't get anything but just a shower.
Oh, okay.